What if I told you that China already has weapons so extremely lethal they could trigger the end of the world in a matter of seconds? Because while the rest of the world is still arguing about drones or fifth-generation fighters, the Asian giant has crossed an invisible line. It has built armaments capable of knocking down satellites, setting entire cities on fire from space, and launching hypersonic missiles that are impossible to intercept. Today, on TechZNX, you are going to discover the 7 most extreme weapons China has just revealed to the world. Real systems, developed in secret laboratories and defense centers that do not appear on maps, but are ready to change the global balance at any moment. So get ready, because what you are about to see is not just technology. It is absolute power from a superpower that no longer wants to compete. It wants to dominate. Let's begin. Top 7. Aircraft Carrier Type 003. Fujian. This is not a ship. It is literally a floating city ready for war. With more than 80,000 tons of steel and cutting-edge technology, the Fujian is the largest aircraft carrier China has ever built, and the first to directly match the technological capabilities of the United States. Forget conventional ramps. This monster operates with electromagnetic catapults, capable of launching J-35 stealth fighters, combat drones, and electronic warfare aircraft in seconds. Its deck can host more than 60 aircraft, and its advanced turbine propulsion system allows it to operate for months without resupply. But the most striking thing is its integration with electronic warfare systems, long-range AESA radars, and anti-missile defenses that transform the Fujian into a lethal command center at sea. China no longer copies. China builds from scratch, and this ship proves it. Because when the Fujian deploys, it does not patrol. It dominates. Top 6. Laser Silent Hunter. It does not drop bombs. It does not fire bullets, and it leaves no visible trace, and yet it can erase a target from the map in less than a second. The Silent Hunter is the most advanced laser weapon China has shown. At first glance, it looks like a compact structure mounted on a truck, but what it hides inside makes it a silent predator on the battlefield. This high-energy laser cannon can perforate a 5mm steel plate from more than 800 meters away without generating explosions or drawing attention. The secret is its variable power infrared beam. Operating on pure electric energy, it needs no projectiles. It can fire again and again, aim, track, destroy, and repeat. In fact, a single Silent Hunter can eliminate hundreds of enemy drones without making a sound, becoming a nightmare for any unmanned fleet that approaches. But it is not limited to drones. Its target acquisition system, based on artificial intelligence, can track multiple threats simultaneously, calculate trajectories in real time, and destroy missiles, mortars, shells, or light vehicles with surgical precision. China has already deployed this weapon in sensitive areas and considers it a cornerstone of its future air defense architecture. A machine that leaves no debris, makes no alarms, and yet annihilates without warning. The enemy will not hear anything. They will only see their equipment fall to the ground, melted, burned, or completely disintegrated. Top 5. Electromagnetic Cannon. No more gunpowder, no explosives, only pure electricity, hypersonic speed, and a solid metal projectile. The Chinese electromagnetic cannon, also known as a railgun, is one of the most extreme and futuristic armament developments to come out of China's shipyards and military laboratories. Unlike conventional guns, this monster fires projectiles at more than 7,000 kilometers per hour, using electromagnetic fields instead of combustion. The result? A projectile capable of piercing armor, ships, bunkers, or underground facilities without exploding, relying only on the kinetic energy released on impact. A dry, silent, lethal strike. In 2018, images leaked of a Chinese warship, the Shan, equipped with an early version of this technology. Since then, advances have been brutal. automated reloading systems, advanced thermal dissipators, and AI-assisted guidance systems. It is estimated that a single shot costs less than $50, yet can produce destruction greater than that of a cruise missile. And the most alarming thing is that these cannons emit no heat signature or visible trail, making detection before impact difficult. China plans to integrate this weapon into its future destroyers, turning them into silent, hypersonic attack platforms capable of striking thousands of kilometers away without relying on explosives or fuel. And if one day they fire it in real combat, the enemy will not see an explosion. They will only feel everything disappear in a fraction of a second. Top 4. Hypersonic Missile DFZF. It does not fly in a straight line. It does not follow a predictable route. And by the time you detect it, it is already too late. The DFZF, also known as WU-14, is the most feared hypersonic missile in China's arsenal. Not only because of its speed, which exceeds 10,000 kilometers per hour, but because it is maneuverable, unpredictable, and capable of outmaneuvering anti-missile defenses in flight. Designed as a hypersonic glide vehicle, this projectile is launched by a conventional rocket, but once it reaches the upper atmosphere, it separates and begins its true spectacle, a low-altitude, erratic flight that is almost impossible to intercept, at heights that confound conventional radars. Unlike other ballistic missiles, the DFZF can change direction mid-flight, making it a nightmare for defense systems like THAAD or Patriot. And that is no accident. It was built precisely to break the United States defensive shield. This missile has been tested more than a dozen times with successful results, and it can currently be launched from mobile platforms such as the DF-17, giving it brutal tactical mobility across any battlefield. Intelligence experts say that with this missile, China has officially entered the hypersonic dominance era, and in a full-scale war, it could be the first weapon to cross the sky and the last thing you ever see. Top 3. Stealth Bomber H-20. If you see it, it is already too late. The Jian-20 is China's new generation strategic stealth bomber that has been kept totally secret for more than a decade. An aircraft designed not only to penetrate enemy airspace undetected, but to unleash apocalypse from the shadows. It is a long-range supersonic bomber with a flying wing design similar to the American B-2 Spirit. But unlike its predecessors, the H-20 is intended for something much more ambitious: to pierce carrier defenses, military bases, and entire cities, leaving only fire and silence in its wake. Although China has not officially revealed all the details, intelligence leaks and satellite analysis indicate that its range could exceed 8,000 kilometers, with the capacity to carry nuclear weapons, hypersonic missiles, and precision bombs, all on a stealth platform coated with radar-absorbing materials and designed to operate at extreme altitudes. The most unsettling claim is that it may already be operational. It is believed that China has conducted test flights in restricted areas of the Gobi Desert, and that it could be rapidly deployed in the event of conflict in the Pacific or the South China Sea region. This aircraft not only symbolizes China's leap in aviation technology, but represents a direct threat to U.S. air supremacy, a bomber no one has seen but everyone fears. Top 2. Killer Satellite Shijian-21. It does not launch bombs. It does not fire missiles, but it is capable of destroying a country from orbit. The shijian-21 is not an ordinary satellite. According to the United States, it is the first space combat platform developed by China with the capability to neutralize enemy satellites. An orbital weapon designed not to observe but to annihilate the space infrastructure of any world power. It was launched into space in October 2021, supposedly for space debris cleaning. But it soon raised suspicions, because shortly after reaching its geostationary orbit, the shijian-21 deployed a robotic arm and began moving other satellites as if they were toys. Experts claim that this arm could capture, disable, or even destroy communications, navigation, or defense satellites. In other words, It can blind, deafen, and disconnect an entire country without firing a single missile. In the digital warfare age, where communications, GPS, missile defense, and even banks rely on satellites, a system like this is equivalent to a silent nuclear attack. It does not destroy cities, but it collapses nations. The United States has publicly recognized that the shijian-21 represents a real threat to global stability, and it is part of a new doctrine of orbital warfare led by China. Because if you control space, you control Earth. Top 1. Chinese nuclear torpedo, Poseidon. This is the ultimate weapon of the apocalypse. Invisible, unstoppable, and designed to lay waste to entire continents without warning. Inspired directly by the feared Russian Status 6, the Chinese nuclear torpedo Poseidon is, according to classified Western reports, one of the most devastating underwater weapons ever conceived by humanity. This monster does not sail. It glides silently through the ocean's depths, powered by nuclear energy, with a theoretically unlimited range and a warhead that could exceed 100 megatons of explosive power. To put it into perspective, that is more than 50 times the Hiroshima bomb. But its true horror is not only the explosion, it is how it attacks. Unlike a ballistic missile that can be detected in seconds, the Poseidon can move slowly for days or weeks without being detected by any radar or sonar on the planet. And when it finally detonates, it not only destroys the target, it generates a radioactive tsunami tens of meters high, capable of wiping out coastal cities and leaving entire regions uninhabitable for centuries. China has not publicly confirmed its existence. But U.S. analysts claim the country is developing its own version of the Russian system, with proprietary improvements in stealth, maneuverability, and accuracy. And if one day it is activated, you will not even know what hit you. And there you have it, the 7 most extreme weapons China has built in secret. Systems so powerful, so brutal, they could destroy continents, erase cities from the map, or plunge the planet into an irreversible war. From invisible aircraft carriers and hypersonic kinetic cannons to killer satellites and nuclear torpedoes that travel silently under the sea, China is no longer competing with the rest of the world. It is preparing to dominate it. Now the question is for you. Do you think these weapons could be used in a real conflict? Would we be prepared if one day China decided to activate them all? Leave your answer in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, drop a like, and hit the bell, because what's coming next on TechZNX will blow your mind. See you next time.